to neutral. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I'm going to be doing a lot of wiring to get my Forester running after putting a 6-speed in it. This episode is not a step-by-step guide on doing the wiring from an auto to a manual. That will be next episode when I get the right sensors in and I can show you how to actually do it. This episode I'm going to be wiring more of the Haltech into things that I need to do. Alright, first up I need to put the power cable back in. We are rerouting it differently. We are going through the car. So from the rear to the center here, and then I'll see if I can get it from the center inside and out to the front. And I want to move the power from the front as well in the engine bay, make it a little bit more neat, because we need to get a catch can back in there as well. So the other day I got the Liberty wheels onto the flows. I've put new oil into the div and dropped everything, so now we can work on the power. I did get the earth off as well, so we need to do that again. Alright, so we're just pulling all of the flooring out of the boot or trunk. Alright, so next day I finished the power. So we have the battery connected, and we have... Alright guys, so I've been working on the power cables running from the back to the front. Now I've only changed from the back to the middle, so it's a lot neater in the boot. It doesn't run under the car, it doesn't go under the diff, it doesn't go near the exhaust. However, from here, my kill switch, to the front, it is under the car still. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. I'll just put some black sheath over it, make it look a bit better. So I'm going to work on the wiring first, and then we'll get to moving things around here to get the catch can fitted back here again. Alright, first up with the wiring, I need to get the starter back in, or the 6-speed starter in, which I haven't put in yet. Alright, we have the starter on. Now that I'm going to be playing around with the wire, I'm actually going to disconnect the fuel pump so we don't keep priming. So I just went to pull out one of the fuses, and this one's melted. What the? But it still works. Wow. I have never seen that before. Great. Let's get another one. And I've seen one around. Ah! Driver's fault bell. There it is. Sick. Oh, this is a mini one, I think. Yeah, it's a mini one. Alright, we've got a bit of a dilemma here. We need to get this and this back through to the engine bay. Now they were going through where the clutch goes through now. So I'm hoping that I can pull the automatic transmission wiring through the Firewall and do any fixes to it on this side of the Firewall. I'll use the same boot and I'll put this through and just rotate it. So talking about this wiring here, because I had all my wiring going through where the master cylinder comes through now. So what we've got here on this loom is O2 sensor, which I don't have hooked up. And we got the transmission, solenoids, speed sensors and stuff like that, the front and rear speed sensors, and then the inhibitor switch, which we're going to have to play around with. So I'm hoping to strip that down and get it through, and then once I send my other wiring through, I'll rotate it so it's facing up this way and it can come around away from the heat source. Because now we have a clutch line and a dipstick. It's going to be a lot harder to get that exhaust down there as well. Alright, so we need to be able to get these through the firewall so I can get my wiring through. If my wiring doesn't come through, we can't start the car because it has crank angle and cam angle sensors on it, which go into this connector over here. So if I can't get them through, the car's not going to start no matter what wiring I do. So the cam crank angle sensor wiring come out of this loom here. Now this still has the front O2 sensor, which I don't use, and this is a knock sensor that I had to cut, but they all go, well, that obviously doesn't, because that's got the connector on it, but that one goes into this plug as well. Alright, so now for me to get this started, I'm going to trace this wiring loom back and into that grommet there, so we can remove wiring and add in the Haltech shielded wiring, make it look a lot neater, and then I won't have to come through this grommet here, and then we'll sort out the wiring from the automatic transmission through there. But when I get the wiring through here, we should be able to start the car up. Right, yes, it's a mess. Seems to be no easy way to do this. This is up like past the blower. Maybe if I can get this out, can make it a lot easier. There's like a lot of wiring that could get pulled back through. This is the wiring that I need to get out. Right, so I've just moved the wiring loom out. Just go through what is there. We have the front O2 sensor for air fuel ratio, which I don't need. We have knock sensor, we have boost controller, we have right ABS. So I'm going to keep going back. We have brake, keep following it back down. Alright, I'm starting to strip this loom down. Just to let you know, guys, you won't have to do this. This is just something that I need to do because the way that I ran everything through where the master cylinder is now, if I did it properly the first time, I wouldn't have to do this. Anyways, this is stock wiring, so if you haven't changed any your sensors and stuff like that, it should be good. Or if you've pinned it from the ECU, if you get running in aftermarket, it should be good. So it's going to look a little something like that, so I know where it needs to come out of the loom to go to where it needs to go. So keep following it around. The next one will be the ABS, which is probably one of the shielded ones. Yep, it was one of the shielded ones. So it's grey with a green line, a light green line. There's a dark green one there. Alright, so we will cable tie that with all the other wires and not all of the other. Alright, we are getting rid of all of this. This is what's staying, and then the Haltech will be added to that. So we've got ABS, we have knock, and we've got the boost controller. And we'll go back, and we've got brake. Yeah, it's going to be very thin.
Tomorrow for sure.
Alright guys, made a lot of progress last night. I have wired in the Haltech. I've brought through the cam and crank sensors from this grommet, which is just above the ECUs, and I ran it all the way through, and I've pinned into this connector. I really should repin this into a 6-pin Deutsch connector, because this is getting old and the tab is broken on the other side and it's a little bit loose. So eventually I will replace all of that there. I do need to trace this one back. This is, I believe, a power that ran to the front O2 sensor. I just saw that in one of the clips when I was editing. I totally forgot what it was for, but that goes up into the dash. That does not go to the ECU, so I have no idea where to go with that one, but we are pretty close to starting. I don't have a dump pipe on there. What I need to do is also wire in a new fuse for that fuel pump that got burnt out, so that will give us power. And then I'll put the exhaust on. I've got a short dump pipe. I'll at least get that on, hopefully. It is a little bit different down there, but hopefully we can get that on so we're not putting exhaust all the way over all of my wiring. So next episode, when I do the step-by-step guide, I'll be cleaning up all of this wiring that was the automatic wiring. But for now, that should get me started. Right, let's go wiring that new mini fuse that I found. That was about a week ago, guys. I've been working on this for a while behind the scenes. Alright, so it seems like it's a pretty easy replacement. So we just need a spade connector. It'll go onto this relay down here, and then it goes to the power, which I should turn off. Alright, let's check. This one looks okay. That one looks fine. So why is this all melted? Alright, so I've just terminated with the ring terminal there and a spade, and it's all on the same gauge wire. I'm thinking that's maybe why it burnt out, because we've got larger and then smaller and very long. Where now just go from here to here, pretty short. So we'll undo that one, we'll take that wire off, and we'll put that one on. It should just go from there and loop around to there. Alright, so this is a 25 amp that got cooked. Now it does say they're fused in both powers. This is, what is this? 15? There's a 25, 25. I believe is the power to the actual pump. That's the trigger, and then the earth is trigger earth from the ECU, from the Haltech. So I don't think this is really doing much, it's just a trigger, but this is the actual power to the pump. Now, probably most likely redo the wiring for the pump. So I know it wasn't the best when I did it, like from over here. So I'll probably redo that eventually. But let's chuck another mini fuse in, and we should power up. And we'll give it a crank over once we get that down pipe on. Now at the moment I have a really big issue. I can't get onto my laptop. I can't remember my password. It's been too long. Alright, I've got a 10 amp fuse in there, which should probably pop. We'll see how we go. Obviously I'm not going to be using 100% of the fuel pump, so hopefully it should be alright for now. I'm going to go inside and try to unlock the laptop, and tomorrow put the dump pipe on and we'll give it a start. Fingers crossed, guys. First start up on the 6-speed. Alright guys, it's the next day. Let's see if we can get the dump pipe on. Alright, I've got the exhaust on. It sits pretty good. I do need a new V-band clamp halfway down, which I believe I did spot for this one, so I already knew about that problem. Let's get the O2 sensor in, which is in the down pipe under the car. And then we should be good for a first startup. Alright, O2 sensor is in, exhaust is on, the turbo is not connected, and our intake isn't, so we don't have an intake tamp. Take that out because that's the breather. Don't want to block that. Alright, I've unlocked the computer. I had to reset the password, but I'm not going to grab that just yet. I'm going to turn it over and see if she fires up. Fingers crossed, guys. Alright, let's make sure the power is on. It's in neutral. Power's on. Now I do have the TCU there sitting on the brake pedal. First startup, guys. Prime it. I'm a bit nervous. Oh no. What have I forgotten? Maybe I've already blown the fuel pump. Well, that was anticlimactic. Alright, so before I hooked up the Haltech, and it said I had an issue with the triggering wires, which is the wiring I did just before I stuffed it up. So let's see if this is the first start. Ready? Alright, I got the oscilloscope open. Good, fix that. Now it's something else. Right, so I'm going to have to change this plug over now. I've absolutely destroyed it. I don't have the vacuum reference on the Haltech yet, so I better do that. Alright, I think I found the issue. It's already popped. Little 10 amp fuse has popped. I need to get like a 30. That's a 40 amp, so I'll get a 30. The previous one was a 25. Alright, pinched some from the Liberty. There's a 30. Get that bad boy in. Drawing some current. Alright, so she starts now. Ready? Sick. Alright guys, so she starts up, she runs. There's a few more things that I need to button up. I'll do that in a different episode. And there we have it, guys. She runs. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next episode. Bye.